508. Hey, it's me again, the 19th of July. But Julie now woke up and she's feeling better. So that's good. So I'm back downstairs. Okay. And this does not mean rest in peace. This means rip curl. Okay. Which is a surf company. All right. So, yeah, kind of ironic that it says that. All right. So let's get into the second lecture for this week. Okay. Week 5, you guys are so close to being done. In fact, let's just see how close we are to being done. Okay, by scrolling down, and again, keep your eyes on the prize. We're getting another midterm. Okay, and your corporate marketing pamphlet is going to be awesome, where you're just going to be really creative and apply everything you have learned to the workplace, which is something you'll be able to carry with you for the rest of your life. All right, cool. We're going to go right back into our weekly assignments. And so it's, again, I commend you. You look at everything that you have learned in this class. Now we're getting into the fun stuff where we are looking at using your knowledge of biology and your knowledge of neuroscience, okay, and the mind-body connection of brain to stress, and how stress influences immune function and cardiovascular disease and diabetes and everything. And we're looking at interventions and how you would run a study to do these interventions. So we did music just a second ago, and now we're going to do exercise. Again, something that's near and dear to my heart. For those of you guys that know me, I am an exerciseaholic, and I'm coming back from shoulder surgery, and we have a pool in our backyard, so we're practicing. I'm back surfing again, and yeah, it's a big part of who I am, and it keeps me uh, sane. It's everybody needs to have an outlet, and you guys should have your outlets for sure as well. In fact, if we go over here, if you want to see something, this is the playlist, but all you need to do is go like this and John Walsh USC, and what pops up is an old video that we did that explains my approach to life that includes a big chunk of it includes exercise. And so check it out if you get a chance, and I'm going to show you my exercise part. Okay, so this is actually me going down to my favorite surfing spot, which is just south of San Clemente, and this is the only way you can get there. So if you ever have an opportunity, you can go down there. It's beautiful. It's a state park, and it borders right on Camp Pendleton. It's the last kind of remnant of what our California coast used to look like. And so this was a gerontology promotional that we did a long time ago. And there I go. All right, so this is me, keeping myself fit and sane, and getting rid of my stress. Okay, that's the important aspect of this class. Okay, so yeah, so check it out. Show your friends. All right, so now we're going to come back here to the analysis, the scientific analysis. So people, their whole life's work are all about this. Okay, so again, when you go through these articles, there's a lot of detail in terms of methods and results. And you don't need to get hung up on it unless someday you wanted to do a study like this. And I just wanted to prove to you through this course that you can read these kind of articles and you can get a lot out of them. So we're looking at this one right here, the effects of physical exercise on central nervous system functions. Okay, it's right up your alley now. Okay, this is your wheelhouse, guys. You guys are aficionados, right? So we look at specific brain adaptations. Okay, and so when you go back and you look at the discussion, I just asked you to, as you're kind of going through, is to look at this part of the brain. This is the serotonergic part of the brain, and then this part of the brain. This is the adrenaline part of the brain. Okay, and yes, exercise. You need to get your heart going, okay? So you got to release adrenaline, and then you feel this sense of fulfillment, okay? And this causes a release of serotonin. So yeah, so this is the your application to this, all right? And then again, the best approach for all these articles is just to really understand the abstract, okay? So so what they did is they surveyed databases, okay? And they looked at um, how exercise affects certain pathologies, okay, and then looked at brain areas. So we have Alzheimer's disease, depression, Parkinson's disease, okay. They looked at dysfunctions in circadian rhythms. Okay, so this is a dysfunction in your sleep patterns, your eating patterns, your awake cycles, and your sleep cycles. Um, Central metabolism. Okay, so this goes back to when you exercise. Okay, you are going to cause a change in burning of fats, burning of glucose, um, oxidative effects, and then the benefits. And that's what you have to look at. Okay, so then we're going to look at, again, cardiovascular function, central stress responses, right? And then this was asked in the discussion as well, the basal ganglia. And what are the basal ganglia? So basically, every time you do a movement, like you see me using my hands, okay, I don't have to think about that. Okay, it comes automatically. And we have, just to throw a number out there, we have millions of these movement applications, just like you have on your phone, a bunch of apps. And depending on what you want to do in terms of a movement, you may call it 3 or 4 apps. Simultaneously, they interact, and you then have this really, really orchestrated movement. When you watch me surfing, I don't think about, okay, I need to stand up, I need to do this, I need to do that. It's all automatic, okay? And this is the basal ganglia. And so it undergoes modifications in synaptic strength, adaptations that are beneficial, okay? It's all plasticity. Dopamine is crucial for this, okay? And you rewire the circuitry so that every time you do that movement, it is better and better and better. It's your driving, it's your ability to sit there and type on a keyboard. You don't have to think about it, but it gets improved the more you do it. Okay, your tennis game, and for me, my surfing. Okay, so that's what all these different brain areas are reflective of, and I kind of ask you to tap into that. So you just, you can do a search. One thing you can certainly do, and I don't know if realize this, guys, but if we download this, default is Microsoft Edge, and I like to do other, okay, and then we go into Adobe Acrobat. And the reason I don't like Adobe Acrobat, I'm going to open this article in Adobe Acrobat now. It's the same article, right? And up it comes, is that it has a really great search function for terms, okay? So you click right here, okay, and then that allows you then to move the page up and down, okay? But more importantly, if you come over here and you do edit and find, okay? So I want you to talk about for example, the locus coeruleus. So you go LOCUS, and you find the next time it's mentioned, okay? And there it is, all right? The exercise induced changes in the locus coeruleus, okay? So that's how you figure that out, okay? How about another one that I asked you was the RAPHE, R-A-P-H-E, and let's check that out, okay? There it is, all right? There's the dorsal RAPHE, and you can get the information you need real quickly and answer questions this way. So we come back up here to the very beginning, and I would say ganglia for basal ganglia. How's that? Oops, sorry, I can't spell though. Ganglia. Oh, and you go. You hit enter or hit next. Basal ganglia is there. I say next. Okay, that was in the abstract. Next. Okay, and then they talk about basal ganglia there. Next, and they there. Okay, and next. And this is where you kind of rifle through and find out what's going on in terms of the questions that are asked. All right. So that's just a real neat feature of Adobe Acrobat, and most computers have that. Okay, cool. Awesome. So just sift through this article again. Don't get hung up on too much of the details. This is tells you how they did the meta-analysis of looking through all of these different databases, and so this would show you if you ever needed to do a meta-analysis how to do it. Okay, and then it goes through each one of the systems that are affected. Okay, so you can come back up here and do the same thing. I already got out of it, so I'm no longer in Adobe Acrobat, but you could look up stress or whatever it is. Okay, awesome. And the bottom line is exercise impacts all of it. The cool thing about exercise too is it's a whole different class, but what it does is it's just the right amount of challenge, oxidative challenge, and so then your body responds to that by up regulating or increasing the number of its natural defenses to get rid of oxidation. So it's a win-win, all right? So that way, when you do have a kind of a pathological challenge, you're geared up, and so the pathology of oxidation is dramatically reduced, okay? The other thing that exercise does is, of course, it changes your metabolism so that you'll deplete your sugar reserves, okay, your glucose reserves, and then you can start to burn fat. Okay, it it is a good part of growth hormone without having the IGF-1. Is a whole different class. But if you ever talk to Walter Longo, the IGF-1 is a promoter of disease, and so you get the benefits of growth hormone without the horrible side effects of IGF-1. Right? So exercise is amazing. And don't forget the Zen part in terms of the brain that you learned about in this paper. All right, cool, 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 cool. All right, so there's the playlist, okay, that you guys should know about. All right, and then you come back up here, and then we look at unique forms. This is just the URL to this article, okay. Like I said, it's pretty cool as long as you just don't get caught up in the details. You just read it for pleasure as best you can, and then you go into an example of exercise, and we're looking at the comparison of intense physical exercise versus yoga. Okay, so again, you read the objective of this paper. So it was one of the first studies that did that. Okay, it was 2010, so it was a little while ago, and they had come with the conclusion where they're looking at the sympathetic nervous system. Remember, that's the adrenaline rush, the first part, the hardwired part of the stressor system, and then the HPA axis. Okay, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis that uses cortisol. Okay, and so we look at exercise and yoga and the effect they have on modulating the stress response. Okay, so you exercise, do yoga, and then you challenge the person, and do you have a more controlled response to the challenge? Okay, and it's really cool because a lot of us are into yoga, and yoga is been shown to be really beneficial. Now, I just love this little. I know that this looks insane, but what I love about this is you guys think about where you started in this class and where you're at now. Okay, so we had this focus of stress. Okay, again, the hardwired fast. Some people call it epinephrine. Some people call it adrenaline. It's the same exact molecule. Okay, this is another one that gets released. They both get released. All right. Um, and you see that it has all these deleterious side effects. Okay, now we need this, okay, to happen when we're being chased by a lion, but chronically it leads to disease. Okay, and we talked about cortisol. Okay, and all the effects that cortisol has. Okay, we didn't even get into these kidney effects right over here. Okay, all right. We heard about inflammation. Okay, all righty. We heard about glucose, insulin, okay, and the consequences of diabetes, okay, and then this results in atherogenic dyslipidemia, okay, so that's the your bad LDLs and HDLs, all leading to disease. So I just want you to feel bask in what you know and how you can look at this chart and actually have a full understanding of it, which is pretty amazing, okay. All right, so then just a lot of methodology here. They talk about their results, okay? Again, this was a big meta-analysis, okay, where they looked at tons and tons of studies, okay? And so there's a couple different ways of doing studies. You can do the actual experiment yourself, or you can survey the literature and to see if we can get a consensus of what's going on. And that's what meta-analysis is all about, okay? And so they get into it and they talk about, again, exercise, okay, compared to different types, different forms of yoga, okay. And the intensity of exercise has been shown to affect the HPA axis, okay. And they again, just look at the discussion and feel what you can take home from this, okay. Yoga works. In fact, yoga is in some ways better because this is one where you're controlling your thought patterns, okay. So you're not ruminating, you're honing in on the moment with yoga, and so it causes a dramatic lowering in the stress response. All right, awesome. Okay, we end with a little video here. It's not very long. This is from the Albert Toga and Paul Thompson Laboratory. This is one of the most well-funded laboratories that looks at brain connections in the world. It also happens to be located over at USC Medical School, which is awesome. And these guys are incredible. You can just kind of watch this video, short, 2 minutes and 27 seconds. And Dr. Thompson talks about changes in exercise stress?
Exercise is interesting in terms of effects on the brain because it works in about 4 or 5 different ways. One of the most obvious ways is blood flow. And so if you
Blood flow, okay?
get your heart working, your brain's going to be filled with oxygen-rich blood and nutrients. So that's the main way that we thought it helps. The other way that's sort of interesting is it's been thought that exercise produces new neurons. And so exercise...
So new neurons through these fertilizers called neurotrophic factors, and he talks all about those as well. I'm not going to sit there and just watch the video with you, but you get the idea. So you just again, articulate in your own words 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to be amazed with what you come up now, especially if you compare yourself now to where you were when you first started in this class. So super proud of you guys. Okay. Don't forget, coming up, okay, July 30th is right around the corner in terms of the next midterm. And then this marketing pamphlet right here, okay? And again, if you scroll, you click on there and you go take a look at the marketing pamphlet, we talk about the learning objectives. We give you the assignment description, okay? And then down here, there is an example. So you just click on this and you check out what we're trying to do. We want you to be super proud of this. This is something will be part of your resume, somebody that you could show people within the workplace or use someday in terms of a job application. Okay, guys? All righty, cool. I think I am done with this. This is a little bit shorter than the last one, which is better. Okay. You guys have a health and happy week. And Julia, would you want to say goodbye? Come over here, say hi. She's just saying hi. She's pretty slow today. Julia's gonna come in next week and say hi to you guys. All righty. All right, guys. Peace and take care.